February Benchmark Test, Grade 8, Social Studies. Multiple choice. 1. The belief that the United States had the right and duty to expand across the North American continent came to be known as A. The Monroe Doctrine, B. The Great Experiment, C. Oregon Fever, D. Manifest Destiny. Number 2. President Thomas Jefferson's purchase of Louisiana, A. was a costly mistake, B. doubled the size of the United States, C. was opposed by Western farmers, D. led to war with Great Britain. Number 3. Florida was acquired by Secretary of State John Quincy Adams through A. trickery, B. warfare, C. diplomacy, D. purchase. Number 4. How did President James Polk deal with the dispute between the United States and Great Britain over Oregon country? A. He agreed to continue joint occupancy of Oregon. B. He stood up to Britain by seizing all of Oregon by force. C. He gave up to Britain by ceding most of Oregon. D. He compromised with Britain by accepting half of Oregon. Number 5. The annexation of Texas was opposed by many Americans because A. Texas allowed slavery, B. Spain still claimed Texas, C. The purchase price was too high, or D. Texas was too large to be a state. Number 6. The war with Mexico began with A. California's Bear Flag Rebellion, B. a border dispute in Texas, C. the Battle of Buena Vista, or D. a U.S. invasion of New Mexico. Number 7. In the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo that ended the Mexican War, A. Mexico agreed that its invasion of Mexico was unjust. B. Mexico agreed to pay the United States $15 million in war damages. C. The United States promised to honor Mexico's claim to California. D. Mexico ceded about half of its territory to the United States. Number 8. The Gadsden Purchase of 1853 was made mainly to A. provide a good railroad route to California, B. greatly enlarge the territory of Arizona, C. stop illegal immigration from Mexico to the United States, D. settle a long border dispute with Mexico. Use the map and your knowledge of social studies to answer the questions below. Number 9. The main purpose of this map is to show A. how the U.S. and Britain agreed to divide Oregon, B. the full route of the Oregon Trail, C. the mountain ranges running through Oregon, D. how large the Oregon country was. Number 10. Who claimed the land south of the Oregon country? A. Alaska, B. Mexico, C. Great Britain, D. United States. Number 11. What part of North America was claimed by Russia in 1846? A. Alaska, B. Canada, C. California, D. Oregon. Number 12. Which territory was ceded by Spain to the United States in 1819? A. 6, B. 5, C. 3, D. 2. Number 13. Which two territories were won from Mexico as a result of war? A. 1 and 3, B. 2 and 4, C. 3 and 5, D. 4 and 6. Number 14. Which territory was purchased from Mexico in 1853? A. 1, B. 6, C. 2, D. 5. Read the passage below, then read each question and choose the best answer based on the passage. Many tales have been told about the Alamo and the men who died there in 1836. One of the most moving is the story of William Travis's last speech to his men. "My brave companions," began the leader of the men defending the old mission, "our fate is sealed. Within a very few days, perhaps a few hours, we must all be in eternity." Travis drew his sword and scratched a line in the sand in front of him. He invited all who were willing to stay and fight to cross that line. The rest were free to save themselves by leaving. One by one, the men stepped across that line in the sand. Jim Bowie, who was too ill to stand, had himself carried across in his bed. Finally, one man, Louis Moses Rose, stood alone on the other side of the line. That night, Rose fled the Alamo. We know this story only because he lived to tell the tale. Number 15. The event described in this passage took place during A. Jackson's invasion of Florida, B. the Texas War of Independence, C. California's Bear Flag Rebellion, or D. the War with Mexico. Read the passage below, then read each question and choose the best answer based on the passage. Many tales have been told about the Alamo and the men who died there in 1836. One of the most moving is the story of William Travis's last speech to his men. "My brave companions," began the leader of the men defending the old mission, "our fate is sealed. Within a very few days, perhaps a few hours, we must all be in eternity." Travis drew his sword and scratched a line in the sand in front of him. He invited all who were willing to stay and fight to cross that line. The rest were free to save themselves by leaving. One by one, the men stepped across that line in the sand. Jim Bowie, who was too ill to stand, had himself carried across in his bed. Finally, one man, Louis Moses Rose, stood alone on the other side of the line. That night, Rose fled the Alamo. We know this story only because he lived to tell the tale. 16. The only source of the story told in this passage was A. William Travis, B. Jim Bowie, C. Louis Moses Rose, or D. Davy Crockett. Number 17. Travis uses the term eternity in his speech to mean A. Time without beginning or end, B. The afterlife or life after death, C. A very long time, D. Forever and ever. Number 18. Which fact is found in the passage? A. Jim Bowie is too ill to stand, B. The Alamo's defenders were afraid, C. The Alamo is located in San Antonio, D. Travis died defending the Alamo. Number 19. What prediction does Travis make in the passage? A. Santa Anna will destroy the Alamo, B. The men who die at the Alamo will be remembered as heroes, C. Those who chose to stay and defend the Alamo will die, D. Louis Moses Rose will live to describe the Alamo's last days. Number 20. This passage is an example of A, a primary source written by an eyewitness to an event, B, a secondary source written by a historian about an event, C, a piece of fiction written about an event that never happened, D, an opinion written to express the author's views. Number 21. The Lewis and Clark expedition brought back priceless information about the West, but failed to A, discover a Northwest Passage, B, reach the Pacific Ocean, C, establish good relations with Indians, D, cross the Rocky Mountains.